They think you are a cute weirdo. They just actually say it with this little grin, this tilt on the head, like they are trying to figure out which shelf you belong on. And you have felt that your whole life, haven't you? That look, that pause before someone decides whether you are endearing or just too much. But here is the thing they are starting to whisper behind their heads when they think you cannot hear. Here is what's shifting in the air around you like static before a storm. They are starting to realize you are not just quirky. You are not just that friend who says unexpected things at dinner parties. You are operating on a completely different frequency. And what they first mistook for strangeness is actually the sharpest intelligence they have ever encountered. They are whispering it now. You are a genius. And that's terrifying to them because just think about what happens when someone genuinely brilliant walks into a room full of people who have spent their entire lives learning how to fit in. Just think about it. The contrast is jarring. You're not trying to be different. That's the part that unsettles them so deeply. You are not performing specialness, eccentricity for attention. You are not wearing your uniqueness like a costume. You simply exist in a way that doesn't make sense to people who have built their whole identities around following invisible rules. And they can feel it. They can feel that there is something underneath your words that they cannot quite grasp. Something that makes them lean in a little closer, even as they pull back a little further. That pull and push is the sound of cognitive dissonance happening in real time. Let's talk about what they actually see when they look at you. On the surface, it's small things. The way you pause too long before answering a simple question, the way your eyes drift somewhere else when people are making small talk about the weather, the way you laugh at moments that are not funny or don't laugh at all when everyone else is roaring. That they notice these things. They file them away. Cute weirdo. They think it's adorable that you don't know how to be normal. But underneath that judgment, something else is brewing. They are watching you solve problems they didn't even know existed. They are watching you connect dots they didn't see. They are watching you speak incomplete thoughts while everyone else is fumbling through fragments of borrowed opinions. And slowly, painfully, they are starting to realize that you are not confused. You are not lost. You are seeing something they cannot. And that terrifies them because it means the world they have built for themselves might be built on sand. Here is the part you need to understand about how other people perceive intelligence that doesn't announce itself. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with intelligence that doesn't look like what they expect. That's important, what they expect. They want genius to come in a specific package. They wanted to wear glasses and speak in measured tones and make them feel smart for understanding it. But you don't do that. You show up as yourself. unfiltered, authentic, to the point of discomfort, and you make them feel something they cannot name. It's like you are speaking a language they didn't know existed. And even though they cannot follow every word, they can feel the meaning behind it. That's what's really happening when they call you a cute weirdo. They're trying to label something they don't understand, to reduce it to something manageable, something they can put in a box and feel superior to. But it's not working. That's interesting. It's not working. You are slipping through the cracks of their categories. And they are starting to whisper about you when you are not in the room. There is another layer. I want you to imagine the moment when this shift happens. You are at a gathering of some kind. Doesn't matter. Maybe it's a casual dinner, maybe it's a work function, maybe it's just a few people sitting around trying to connect. And you say something, it's not rehearsed, it's not designed to impress, it's just a truth that occurred to you, a connection you made that seemed obvious. And the room goes quiet. Not the awkward quiet of confusion, but the quiet of recognition. That's another thing. Someone's brain just did a thing it wasn't expecting to do. Someone just had to rearrange their understanding of the world to accommodate what you just said. And you see it in their eyes, that flicker, that moment of recalibration. That's when they know. That's when they whisper to the person next to them. Did you hear that? Did you hear? What did she just say? What did he just say? No, seriously, what was that? And you are not even paying attention because for you it's just Tuesday, Wednesday. That's now. That's how your brain works. You're just existing in the only way you know how, and it's forcing everyone else to either level up or tap out. But here is what's really going on beneath that moment. This is where it gets deep. When people encounter a mind that works differently, especially a mind that works faster and deeper and more literally than their own, they experience something almost physical. It's like vertigo. The ground shifts. Suddenly the conversation they have been having, the assumptions they've been living by, the little agreements they have made with themselves about how the world works. All of it feels thin. And they don't like that. Actually, nobody likes. Nobody likes feeling like the foundation of their reality might be cracking. Nobody. Let's admit that. So they do what humans always do. They project. They call you weird. They call you too intense. They call you adorable, but impossible. They make you your difference about you, about your flaws, about your inability to be normal. But it's not about you at all. It's about them. It's all about the mirror you are holding up that they didn't ask to look into. And here's the twist that changes everything. The genius they are starting to whisper about isn't the kind of genius you think. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about having the highest grades or the most impressive credentials. It's about something much more fundamental. It's about being awake. That's a good word. Awake It's about seeing through the stories we have all been agreed to tell ourselves. It's about being unwilling to pretend that the emperor is wearing clothes when your eyes are telling you he's naked. Good metaphor. That's the kind of intelligence that scares people. Not the kind that wins trivia nights, but the kind that refuses to participate in collective delusion. And you have been doing that since you were a child, haven't you? I think, yeah. You have been quietly refusing to accept the narratives everyone else accepts. You have been asking the questions that make adults uncomfortable. You have been noticing the gaps, the contradictions, the things that don't add up. And they have been calling you a weirdo for it. Because that's the only story they have that projects and protects them from having to actually look at what you are seeing. Let me take you deeper into what this actually looks like in your daily life. You are sitting in a meeting. Everyone is nodding along to something that is obvious wrong. It's not just wrong, it's transparently wrong. But everyone is nodding, everyone is affirming, everyone is doing the dance of agreement. Because that's what you do in meetings. You agree. That's the social contract. And you are sitting there feeling like you are the only one who can see it. And you say something, just say something, just a simple thing. Like but wait, doesn't that actually contradict the data from 3 months ago? And everyone stops. They look at you, they exchange glances, and then someone says, well, yes, but bad actress, but we don't really need to go down that rabbit hole right now. That's the moment when they know. That's the moment when they whisper to each other later that you are brilliant but impossible, that you see too much, that you cannot just let things be easy. And they are not wrong. You cannot. That's not a choice for you. It's a compulsion, a commitment to reality that most people don't have and don't want. And the thing is, the way your mind works, it's not just about seeing what's wrong with the external world. It's about seeing what's wrong with the internal world too. You are just as relentless with yourself as you are with everyone else. You don't let yourself get away with comfortable lies. You don't let yourself off the hook when you know you are pretending. You are always pushing, always probing, always trying to get close to something real. And that's exhausting. That's really exhausting. That's why you need so much time alone. That's why you retreat into your own head for hours at a time. Because the noise of the world, the constant hum of people pretending things are fine when they are not, it drains you. It pulls you away from the truth you are trying to hold onto. And the people who call you a cute weirdo, the ones who are now starting to whisper about your genius, they don't understand that part. They don't understand that your strangeness is a survival mechanism. It's not a personal quirk. It's how you protect the part of yourself that still knows what's real. They notice other things too. They notice how you handle crisis. When everyone else is panicking, you are somehow calm. Not detached, not cold, but present. You see the situation clearly because you are not busy pretending it's not happening. You see the angles, the possibilities, the paths forward that nobody else can see because nobody else is willing to look at the situation without the filters. And they whisper about that too. Like how does she or he stay so calm? Where does he get that clarity? What's wrong with her that she's not freaking out like the rest of us? But that's not what's wrong. That's what's right. That's the part of you that has always seen through emergency as a performance. You have known since you were small that most crises are manufactured. Not the real ones, but the ones where people collectively decide to panic because it's easier than thinking. And you just can't do that. You never could. It's not in you. Now let's talk about the quiet whispers that are happening about you right now, behind your back. When you leave the room, when you're not there to hear the careful way people frame their observations, they are starting to say things like, there is something about them I cannot quite figure out. They are starting to say, every time I talk to them, I walk away thinking about things I'd never considered before. They are starting to say, I used to think they were just odd, but I think they are actually... And then they trail off because they don't have the word. They don't have the vocabulary for what you are. Genius is too simple. It doesn't cover the warmth, the awkwardness, the strange silences, the way you sometimes make people cry just by seeing them clearly. It doesn't cover the way you have been making people feel less alone without even trying. It doesn't cover the way you have been dismantling their defenses with nothing but honesty. And here is the part that's going to hit you hard. The people who call you a weirdo, the people who whisper about your genius, they are not actually your enemy. They are not trying to hold you down. They are just afraid. They are afraid of the part of you that sees through their masks. They are afraid of the part of you that asks the questions they don't want to answer. They are afraid, just afraid, of the part of you that lives in the space between what's said and what's true. But they also need you desperately. They need you to keep being who you are because it gives them permission to be more of who they are. You are their permission to sleep to be strange. You are their proof that being different doesn't mean being broke. You are the evidence they have been waiting for, that the way they have always felt, the way they have always been, that it's actually something to be celebrated and not hidden. That's the power of your presence. Not that you are smarter than them, but that you are more honest than them. That you refuse to play the game, and they are starting to realize that that's the most valuable thing a person can offer. You have felt the judgment your whole life, haven't you? That subtle pressure to tone down, to be less intense, to save your ideas for a time, when people are ready to hear them. And you have probably tried. You've probably given up on being heard in a rooms full of people who cannot keep up. You have probably retreated into your own world because it was easier than fighting for air in theirs. But something's changing, something's shifting under your feet right now. The whispers are getting louder, not the whispers of judgment, but the whispers of recognition. People are starting to see you. And not just see you, but see what you really are. And what you really are is someone who's been doing the hard work of being real in a world that rewards performance. What you really are. What you really are is someone who's been brave enough to keep thinking when everyone else decided to stop. What you really are is someone who's been leading from the shadows, showing people what's possible just by refusing to be less than you are. And that's genius. Not the kind that wins awards or gets featured in magazines, but the kind that changes lives, the kind that makes people feel seen and unstoppable and safe enough to be themselves, the kind that operates in quiet spaces and opens doors that nobody knew existed. You are that kind of genius. And the people around you are starting to figure it out. They are starting to tell each other about you. They are starting to say your name in conversations you are not part of. They are starting to wonder what you would say about the things they are struggling with. Because you have that effect. You make people feel like they can figure things out. You make them feel like their questions matter. You make them feel like the weird parts of themselves. We all have weird parts, actually. Are actually its most valuable parts. And that right there is why the whispers are changing. They think you are a cute weirdo because that's what their smallness can handle. That's the story they needed to tell themselves, to feel safe around someone who operates with a safety net, without a safety net. But now the truth is leaking out. Now they are seeing what's really happening. You are not just different. You are different in a way that serves them. You are different in a way that elevates them. You are different in a way that makes them want to be different too. That's the real revolution. That's the real revolution. Not the one that announces itself with fanfare, but the one that happens quietly in the spaces between conversations, in the moment when someone realizes they don't have to pretend anymore because they have seen someone else who doesn't pretend. That's you. That's what you have always been. That's what you have been doing all along. And maybe you don't feel like a genius. Maybe you just feel like yourself. Tired and weird and struggling like everyone else. But that's not what they see. They never been what they see. That's never been what they see. What they see is someone who holds the world lightly, who refuses to be crushed by its weight, who finds meaning in the spaces where others find only emptiness. They see someone who has somehow figured out that the secret to life isn't getting it right, but staying open. They say someone who's always reaching, always asking, always pushing against the edges of what's known. And they are terrified and is inspired in equal measure. They are terrified because it means they could do it too. They could stop pretending, they could stop performing, they could stop playing games. They could just be who they are. And that's the most terrifying and liberating thought a person can have. So here's what I want you to take away from all of this. The whispers about your genius are real. They are happening right now in rooms you are not in, conversations you are not in, conversations you are not part of. People are talking about you. They are saying your name with a mix of admiration and confusion. They are trying to figure you out, and they cannot. They will never be able to fully understand you because you are not something that can be understood at a distance. You have to be experienced. You have to be let in. And the ones who are brave enough to do that, the ones who stop, are the ones who stop just whispering and actually come closer. They are the ones who will never be the same, because you don't just make people think, you make people feel. You make them feel the weight of their own potential. You make them feel the cost of playing small. You make them feel the beauty of being exactly who they were born to be. And maybe that's the scariest thing of all. Not the genius itself, but what the genius demands. It demands authenticity. It demands that people stop hiding. It demands that they look at themselves and see the gaps between who they are and who they could be. And some people cannot handle that. Some people will keep whispering about you from a safe distance. They will call you a cute weirdo and keep you at arm's length because that's what their fear demands. But others will step forward. Others will let you in. Others will let you change them. And those are the ones who will be forever grateful. Those are the ones who will tell the real story about you, not the one about how strange you are, but the one about how you woke them up, how you showed them what was possible, how you let them see themselves through your eyes, and they liked what they saw.